Hey, Bucket Ponds family, welcome back to the channel. Today we are building an all-natural pond using a kids' play pool. This is pool pond number 3. We do one of these every year, and it's become a bit of a tradition here for Bucket Ponds. And these large pools are perfect for all-natural DIY ponds. They're easy to set up and a lot of fun to work with over time. So we're going to walk through the build phase all the way up till today, and I'll show you every step. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump right in and check it out. So grab your shovel, pick out a nice grassy spot in your backyard, and get to work. Now you can set the pool right there on top of the soil, that's fine. Add some water, some plants, and consider it a functional pond. Nothing wrong with that. But I like to dig a little hole and bury the ponds up to the rim. That acts as a bit of insulation in the winter, and it does help to reinforce the walls of the pool as well. Keeps it strong. That water weighs a lot once you fill it up, and it will be pushing on the walls constantly. But if you're in it for the long term, I highly suggest that you bury your pond in the ground. You'll have to dig a pit about maybe 8 to 10 inches deep of the approximate size of your pool. And it's not too difficult. We found this really cool root. Sorry, old tree, but we'll hang on to this. Maybe we can use it in the final landscape of our pond. So I've been building these for a while now, these pool ponds, and they are highly functional. You know, they're very effective. It will attract a lot of frogs and insects and wildlife into your area. You can also stock it with various things, including fish, and I prefer mosquito fish, which happen to be native here. But we're also looking at Madaka rice fish, and maybe even some little sunfish or something one day. But there we go. We have our circular pit dug out, and we are now refilling it with that soil, kind of packing it around the edges of the pond. And we managed to save most of the grass from the hole that we dug out here. So we're going to replace that a bit like sod, just to help rebuild the backyard area around the pond. Over time, we will see that the environment will begin to change slightly. We'll have more interesting plants that will start to grow around the edges of the pond. And you may even get seeds and things that birds bring into your area. You may discover new flowers and things starting to grow around your pond after a while. It's very cool. But here we have some landscaping stones. And we're going to use this to build a nice land feature within the pond. First, we're going to add a bit of substrate. This is the same soil that we just dug out of the pit here. And this is probably unnecessary, but I don't want to throw those rocks in here without some kind of cushion. So that dirt there will help. This is just sandy topsoil. Nothing extremely fancy or expensive. And we're going to build a rock wall here on the backside. My plan is to take a note from our recent polydarium builds. We've built some very nice polydariums in jars. And I want to build something like that out here. A bit different because it's larger and outdoors, but that's fine. All right, so there's our basic landscape we're going for. We're going to add a lot of soil on the backside. That will be a swampy marshland type environment. And then on the front, we're going to have more of an open water area. There we go, something like that. And, you know, just looking at this, I can't help but imagine how cool this would be as like an outdoor terrarium with moss everywhere and all the springtails and small creatures that would come crawling into the project, a bit like a pit trap. But they wouldn't be permanently stuck in there. They would have to, you know, want to live in that container, in that habitat. But I think that would be a very cool terrarium. But now we're going to add some water, and we're going to fill it up a bit. Now, the substrate that we used here will cause the water to become quite cloudy and very murky at first. This will take a week or two, or maybe even 3 to settle. And that's part of the reason why it took so long to make this video. But I also wanted to allow the plants and everything to slowly settle into place, a bit like cycling an aquarium, you know. And the pond is set up to overflow into the front, off the rim there a little bit. Do not worry about my fish eventually being caught in like an overflow and tumbling out of the pond. It's fine. I set up every one of these pool ponds to have a little overflow, and it works. In the event of heavy rains and things, it will channel the water out of the pond into a chosen location. And now we're adding some spiderwort. This is Virginia or Ohio spiderwort. One of my favorite plants from last year that we've really gotten into lately. It's good stuff. It's very durable, very hardy, and it might get beat up a little bit from the transplant and the stress, but it will grow just fine in this type of location. Um, you may read online that it requires well draining soil and blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm happy to report that I'm able to grow some directly in water as an emergent plant with no soil. So don't believe everything you read online. We're also going to add some small leaf spiderwort. These plants are very closely related, and in fact, they may even be able to hybridize, which is interesting because they have a very different structure. But their flowers are very similar. They should be in the same genus, the same family, and everything I've read said that they should be able to hybridize. So we're hopeful. Um, I've been out here every day making these flowers touch and trying to get all scientific on it. There's a big bucket of small leaf spiderwort, and we discovered that in our backyard during the How to Find Dayflower video. So please watch that if you haven't already. It's a great plant, and we just happen to have it in the backyard. And it's been out here for years, and I had no idea till we went looking for it. But we're going to mix that in among the larger spiderwort plants, and I'm very hopeful that they will cross. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know what a hybridized plant of those two species would look like, but I'm sure it would be interesting, and I'm willing to bet it would grow in our jar aquariums very well. So let's cross our fingers and hope. All right, and now we are adding some Nutella macroalgae. It is mixed with a bit of bacteria, duckweed, and probably some bladderwort. Nutella will do a great job. It acts like a filter. It'll pull a lot of the small particles out of the water column, and the bacteria that it comes with will help to accelerate the cycle of the pond. I've also added a couple taro plants here. These are water taro, and this is the cat plant, a very important plant here, yes. Just remember to pet it often. But I added some taro in here, and we'll eventually add some more and some elephant ears as well. There's a good look at the purple spiderwort. I believe it is Virginia spiderwort. The flowers are only open for part of the day, so they're starting to close up. And there's another look at the small leaf spiderwort right there next to it. So I'm very hopeful that being so close, these plants may cross naturally. A few days later, we're going to add some nice hypno moss and some small plants. I collected this from a nearby wild pond. I should have recorded the collection process. I miss all the collection trips that we used to do, but I am working on my transportation situation so I can once again become more mobile, and we'll have to go out and do a collection once a week. Yeah. So lately we've been doing, one video a week, roughly. But I want to go out there and do more collection trips anyway. So I'm thinking maybe every Sunday we'll go out, take a little road trip, collect some things, come back, record that and record the analysis, looking at what we found, something like that. But the moss looks good. It should do fine in here. We will add a few more plants to act like cover to kind of give some shade to that moss. It doesn't like to be out in the direct sun too long. There we go. So the pond is nearing completion. We have beaten the cloudy water situation, and now we actually have a green water situation that has developed. Now, green water is not directly harmful. A lot of people see it and they panic. But it's a bit like a plant. It's an algae. But it's growing very well, and it's doing so because there is quite a bit of plant food in that water column. Fertilizer, nutrients, whatever you want to say. But probably from the land portion that we have in the back. So we're going to add some more taro. And these plants have a huge root mass because they were grown in a bucket pond for about a year and a half for this purpose alone. So they're ready for an upgrade. Those roots will branch out. They'll help to capture a lot of material in here, and they'll act as a cover for our fish. like those breeding mops that people use in their aquariums, something like that, though far more natural. I love our plants, you guys. It makes me very happy. And we'll add a few smaller ones in here as well. There we go. Yeah. Now these taro plants and elephant ears that we're going to add, they will grow very quickly. They will replicate very quickly. And they will work to compete with the green water algae to help thin it out a little bit. They'll eventually send roots out of the pond and start taro and elephant ear clusters all around the rim of the project. I think that's really cool, but I do want to channel them away from the open water area if possible. So, yeah, I'm learning quite a bit about these plants, especially when we built pool pond number one. Pool pond number one was absolutely dominated by giant elephant ears and small water taro plants, to the point where I've taken 30, maybe 40 plants out of that project over the last 2 years. And that's really cool. They're acting like a farm, like we're out here growing stuff to use in other projects. And I think that's really nifty. Next year, we'll be able to come back in here, collect a few plants, and start a whole new patch of taro or whatever we want to do until we turn the whole world green. And we're going to add some lily pads from pool pond number two. I don't want to show the lily pad division process as it is very violent and I don't like doing it. It beats the plant up pretty bad. But there we go. We have it collected. We're added into the new pond. Every plant in here has a story of how its ancestors were originally collected and brought into the oasis. It's a lot of fun and lots of stuff that plant people talk about. But here we are. Project is nearing completion and we are ready for a few mosquito fish. These guys are like pond sharks. That's how I think of them. They will decimate any mosquitoes that might happen to be in this project. They are voracious little predators. And the green water will have a few bonuses as well. It will allow the fish to feel more comfortable. It'll help them to hide, and it won't hurt them at all. Mosquito fish like to be safe when they are spitting fry, so they will, prefer a place that is cloudy or hidden. So this is perfect for them. I'm very, very happy about this, you guys. So there we have it. We built a beautiful planted pond for 20 bucks, stocked with fish and microfauna and all the good stuff. Thank you to our YouTube members, Claywise, Wheelbite, and Adric. And thank you to our patrons as well, Claywise, Swansea, Jay, Jeff Giesner, Ashley Danielle, Wheelbite, and Jess. We might just have to rethink the shout-out policy and go with just like a credit list, like at the end of a movie, members, Patreons, things like that. If we get more names in there, I'll be spending all day giving everybody a shout-out. Thank you for watching. I hope you had a great time. I'll have more videos on my channel. Please check it out.